So, hello to everyone. Warm welcome from my side. This is the 19th info session on training and education in the space sector. And today we will focus on the benefits of the Erasmus Plus EU project, UNIVERSEH. This is a project targeted to students and young professionals. And we are honored to have today with us the coordinator of the project, Professor Emmanuel Zenou. Emmanuel is the head of International PEGASUS Network as well, and the chairman of Université de Toulouse. The vision of UNIVERSEH is to be the only European university in a changing space sector, as they say on the website, offering an innovative cross-science, multicultural and research-based learning environment. Of course, Emmanuel will share more information about this. Just to note from the beginning, it will be a shorter webinar today. Why, as Nereus, we want to promote UNIVERSEH and to support UNIVERSEH because it's based in Toulouse. It's one of the member regions of Nereus, Occitanie. Our president was also member of the advisory board, and most probably this will be continued. We support as Nereus Erasmus Plus initiatives and projects. Don't forget that Nereus was a major partner in EO4GEO and a downstream space sector initiative. Please mute your microphone so we can have a good acoustic. And this time, UNIVERSEH, it's a very interesting initiative because it links the upstream space sector with the downstream space sector. And I think that that's it from my side. I won't take more time. I will leave all the time to the coordinator to share the mission objectives, updates, as well as the new study program from UNIVERSEH. So, Emmanuel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Margarita. So, yes, just a short presentation of myself before continuing. So, I am, yes, head of international at ISAE SUPAERO in Toulouse, and I work for the University of Toulouse for the UNIVERSEH project. I am also, as you said, chairman of PEGASUS Network, and PEGASUS regroups European universities in aerospace engineering. UNIVERSEH, it's slightly different. It comes from an initiative made by Macron in 2017 to create some pan-European university network on different domains or with different identities. We in Toulouse and with our partner in Europe, we show you the list after, we decided to not to work in academic domain like engineering or arts or whatever, but we decided to work in all domains, but in a specific sector, space. So the idea of this university is not to recreate another space university in science and engineering. There is already a lot in Europe. But the main objective is to work in all disciplines on focus on the space sector. All these initiatives, European University Alliance, are strongly supported by European Commission, as you said, Margarita. There is 65 today, and they are today supported financially and politically at the European level. So, UNIVERSEH started now 5 years ago in 2020. There was a first edition in for some alliance earlier. Today there is 7 partner universities. So the University of Toulouse, who regroups some other higher education institutions in Toulouse, like Paul Sabatier, like INP, Toulouse INP, ISAE SUPAERO, Toulouse Business School, or Université Jean Jaurès. The network is composed so in 7 members, also the University of Luxembourg, the University of Namur in Belgium, University of Düsseldorf in Germany, Luleå Technical University, where I am now, IGH in Krakow, and University of Tor Vergata in Italy. So there was a first project in Co-University 1.0. There was also a project in research called Beyond University, and now we are in the second project called Université 2.0. We distinguish the alliance from the different projects. We have created an alliance with a specific vision, we'll see that just after. And this alliance is being built through different calls from the European Commission. So our education, our vision is to be a European university in a changing space sector, as you know, offering innovation, cross-science, multilingual, multicultural, inclusive, and research-based sustainable learning environment with excellence and passions. So really, we want to work through interdisciplinarity, multilingualism, multicultural in Europe, because we think it's very important that we know each other, and for the European Commission, inclusive, and we develop our own research. We will see that later. So we have some pillars, and we have a mission statement. I will send you the presentation, Margareta, and you have a direct link to download this mission statement that gives a vision and all what is, let's say, building, let's say, documents of the current program Alliance Universelle. So when we talk about multidisciplinarity, we have defined 6 disciplines: science and engineering, of course, economy, business and finance, medicine and health, human and social science, arts and cultural studies, innovation and entrepreneurship. If some of these disciplines are natural for space, like science, engineering, or innovation, human sciences is not always visible. We talk a lot about space law, but there is other human sciences. Medicine, more and more, and art and cultural studies, at least in Europe, is not that well developed for the space sector. And areas, you will see below all the areas in which we want to build something together. So I won't go too much in detail of what have been done. We have created a lot of interdisciplinary courses like space medicine, history of astronomy, etc., business, innovation, business and law. And we created a lot of micro content, what we call ADN, Aerospace Digital Nuggets, for which we are also open to stakeholders to create some micro contents, and not only academic, because we want our university to be open to the society much more than usually universities are. For many conferences, hackathons, etc. And so the vision of education is really to open education to the society for initial education, of course, but also lifelong learning. We want really to bridge gaps between, let's say, academics and the traditional space sector. And of course, we know that Europe is not today leader in space. We know that US, even China, India are advanced in some domain, not all, but in some domains. Our ambition is also to support the competitiveness of Europe on these sectors that change very rapidly and for which Europe is not always, how can I say that, reactive enough to handle all these challenges. So our ambitions is really to accompany European actors to strengthen Europe, also to work a lot in sustainability and a sustainable space, for which it's not always a shared position with worldwide actors, and in Europe it's an important issue to promote more investment in Europe, because once again here, with respect to other countries, we are late in private and public investments. And at the same time, one of the challenges, we are a set of university, but with a set of stakeholders that could support this ambition. So all the partners, we have more than 100 partners today, not, of course, industrial like Airbus, Thales, etc. SMEs, all national space agencies and European space agencies and EU SPA, public authorities like local region, like members of Nereus, other labs, some association, also some other academic labs, students, etc. So I won't go through all our partners in Europe. But the way we want to work together is through some local committees with a different topic. And this topic has been already discussed some years ago with our stakeholders, but it's necessary now in the 2.0 to go further. And we are open on the discussion with you as a cluster also of members, like all other stakeholders, on which topic you want to share with us. So here you can see some example, like competence and skills for the future, student activities, lifelong education, inclusion and diversity, social and human sciences, research for society, entrepreneurship and innovation, space for all, etc. There might have others, depending on the wish of some of our stakeholders, how much they want to invest, or if there is some specific issue, we can be flexible on that. We have in Europe different degrees of, let's say, advancement in each of these topics. Some are more advanced in lifelong education, others in entrepreneurship, etc. And so the idea is to work also locally with a local group of stakeholders in order to have this local discussion, because all discussion are not necessary to be held at a European scale, but sometimes it's easier to work at a local scale. So the way structures, I won't go too much in details on the governance of 2.0, but the advisory board here is actually linked to steering committee, but it's now more linked to the governing board, so it will be changed in the next project. Let's say we have a classical organization for an educational program. One of the key issues here today is how we go further in one institution and in one legal entity. It's because today we are still an union of partners, and we are discussing about a legal entity. So it's today it's supported by University of Toulouse, which is the center of gravity, but it's present in all our place, in all the place of our members. And so at the European scale, you have an advisory board. And yes, I asked Nereus to be part of Advisory Board 2.0. The idea is to have a high-level discussion with our presidents and rectors in order, here again, to advise the governing board on strategic priorities to address key European challenge. To shape the future all together in the knowledge square, education, research, innovation, service to society. To co-develop Europe's strategy, vision, and competitiveness. Today, there is no real European vision in the way that there is a vision from ISAE, there is a vision of states, there is a vision from European Commission, and it's not always easy to have integrated vision for Europe. And also to support our alliance. Today, it's financially supported by the European Commission, tomorrow probably again. But we need to be more, to interact more together in having more deeper relationships. And also the advisory board is a way to facilitate interaction with other entities in Europe, not only academic entities. And more concretely also with the advisory board is also to advise us in our initial education, to give feedbacks and eventually to participate to some dedicated small groups, you can call them advisory board, but for each program to have a small group of professionals in each place. I will present you the 4 masters after. In terms of lifelong learning, the idea is to co-build with you and to answer to your needs in terms of competencies and skills. So we work for initial education, for young professionals, but also for professionals. Support for sustainability, as I said, today it's a very relatively young project, it's 5 years. We don't have yet a strong long-term vision for the development of the alliance, and to work also on the joint research program, not only academic but also with industries, SMEs, etc. So today on the composition of the advisory board on the left, you have the members that I made a call only 2 weeks ago for Université 2.0. I have positive feedback on the left, and on the right, we are waiting for other people who have been contacted. So Nereus is still on the right, but I am optimistic that Nereus will switch to the left side.
Yes, yes, yes.
In terms of programs, so we are building 4 master programs today. One more general with our partner in Poland on space technology, which has been launched in 2025. We are about to be accredited for a space program, a master program in space sustainability, mainly with people from the University of Luxembourg and people from Namur. It should be accredited in the second semester of this year. In Toulouse, between University of Toulouse and ISAE SUPAERO, we are building a master degree in space health engineering. So the idea here is to mix engineers and people from health, medicine, and so on, to build together some technology for space. And the final one, which is under discussion, is to go ahead on the SATCOM program on space telecommunication with Toulouse INP, AGH, and Tor Vergata, and University of Luxembourg also, who will make a small part of the program. As I said, lifelong learning for us, it's important, and the idea is to work with our stakeholder. If there is some needs, and there is some, because when we talk to them, they express the wish to have some programs. The idea is to co-design and co-build lifelong learning program with our stakeholders for engineers, but manager, administrative staff, etc. Also, we are working on a document at a draft status today to have a more long-term vision and more global vision. It's a document started to address all European issues on the space sector. So it's a very global document, not specially related to education. And the idea was to split all main issues that Europe face into 10 key challenges. So here you can see the 10 key challenges: policy challenges, sovereignty and autonomy, military and defense concern, innovation, entrepreneurship, industrial challenges, scientific and technological challenges, societal impact, education and workforce development, human spaceflight and crew Earth challenges, cultural awareness and public perception of space, and environmental challenges. So the idea was not to address all challenges, because it will be impossible, but at least to find a categorization, and in which to have 2-3 strong items for which Europe has to face. And starting from this document, so it's a draft version, and if some of you are interested in interacting with us, I will be very happy to have some feedback from specialists. It's a first draft, so a lot of things to be discussed and changed. And the next step is to see how UNIVERSEH, as a European alliance, can support some of these challenges in education, but also outside education. So if some of you are interested in having some discussion, I will be very happy to interact with you. So to finish this presentation, we are working on this strategic and vision and proposition for University Alliance and the future calls. We are very interested in having interaction with you as a member of stakeholders, but also with any professional who are interested in, let's say, in education and space. So by default, you're interested in space, of course, in Nereus. But if some of you also have some education concern, to try to build more global vision, we will start the discussion on University 3 project. So also the vision and the concrete action that we can do together also with our stakeholders. And also more in academic way to build some jointly also some micro content course and programs, and having a support of and vision of professional on this program, and in order really to strengthen Europe in the space sector. So here my rapid presentation. I'm of course open to discussion and question.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for this enriched presentation. I'm already impressed by the initiative and It's good that you also explain the difference between the alliance and the project as it is. From my side, I would like to, before I give the floor to the audience, I would like to ask you two questions, maybe also two general questions in the beginning, and to make also the participants better understand the Erasmus Plus initiatives. Could you kindly elaborate on what is the difference, what is the added value of UNIVERSEH mission project compared to other Erasmus Plus initiatives in the EU? In the beginning, I mentioned EO4GEO, for example. What is the added value of UNIVERSEH? How does it differentiate its objectives and mission?
So the idea here is really to build. The ambition is to build a pan-European university that cover all academic disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
Science, engineering, health and medicine, economics and management, arts and cultural studies, innovation, like others. But yeah, the ambition is to have a comprehensive university of the space sector. And so to
Covering all space sectors.
all disciplines. So
Yes.
because there is a lot of very famous universities in science and engineering, or less in human sciences. There is few. Luxembourg is already very, like Toulouse, very good in space law.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no university for which we can say I want to work on the space sector, even if I am more in this or this discipline. You know, sometimes when working with some people from humanities on the space sector in Europe, people don't feel legitimate to work on space sector.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, it was really a discovery because we were very surprised. The challenge is so huge. And if I am a bit provocative, one of the most challenge is a cultural challenge. Everybody knows NASA, of course. Almost nobody in the world called European Space Agency. We have a very strong programs in space exploration, but nobody knows that that's European programs. And so Europe is not visible. There is no movie, and even on the other side, there is no, in European movies, culture, literature, very few science fiction actually, and very few how to say that, works in related to space, and also what is very specific to space is today, like science in general, is that space. There is a lot of people that when they think about space, it's negatively. Okay, there is some pollution. What is the use? It's colonization and blah blah and blah blah. And there is a big shift.
Which is partly true. It's not all wrong, but yeah, please.
No. And also we had an event last year in Toulouse talking about that and how to change the perception of space also in a more positive way. So yes, a difference. And also as the European Commission finance that, we wanted also to elaborate, but not only alone, but also with other, to participate, let's say, to the challenge of Europe in our scale.
And improve awareness and outreach, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, as you know, Nereus is as you rightly mentioned from the beginning, it's an association of members. Our members are the regions of Europe. Today, we are very pleased and honored as well to have a representative from the Veneto region, I will come back to this later on. Of course, I'm tempted to ask you, how does such project strengthens the regional ecosystem?
So we are 7 universities today, maybe more tomorrow. And it's true that there is a mapping with Nereus, because the region of Krakow is very active, of course, in Nereus. The region of Toulouse is very active.
Małopolska, Occitanie, it's in member regions, yes.
Exactly. And the question is, if our ambition is to go beyond academic and to be open to the society. So meaning being open to society means to also to have a more deeper relation with political decision, with and so if we want to share a common vision and this vision to be applied, we need to have political actor in our stakeholder community. And also we want to answer to their needs, because sometimes regions have some specific needs in terms of education, and sometimes one region cannot answer alone. And also it could be easier, even for you, you are already well structured, so maybe it's less applied for you, but it's also more, let's say, joint interaction with our political decision. And Europe is a very good scale between, because it's powerful enough to do a lot of things, and at the same time, it's local scale. It means that it's easier to have some interaction and discussion.
Thank you, Emmanuel. I would like to bring to the discussion Carlo Massetto, who is the representative of Veneto region, and he's also the chair of the Earth Observation Working Group for Nereus. So he's into academics a lot, and I would like to hear your views, Carlo. And if you have any question to share with Emmanuel, just also to remind for today, we are a short group of participants on purpose. We are just before summer, but this webinar will be recorded and shared with all of our members and the Nereus community as well. So everybody can know more, can learn more about UNIVERSEH and interact with you, Emmanuel, as well, if you allow us to give your contact details.
Yeah, you will share my presentation. There is my
and
email
your presentation. Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Carlo, please, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Margherita. I'm sorry to have lost the first part of your presentation, since I was the administrative office for urgent issues. By the way, I heard the presentation of Emmanuel. Thank you, Emmanuel, for the really interesting initiative that you presented today. And personally, I didn't know about UNIVERSEH, but it's a nice discovery to hear there is a training program dedicated to the space, because as you were saying before, somehow there is the obstacle is the feeling that people feel to be enough introduced in the space domain, and this is for what can I see, this the training or the education of a specific field in the space can be it's rising. There is a rising demand in this field for sure, and often all the subjects are I would say fragmented into different educational paths. So I think it's great to the concept to have one channel for space sector that cover all the topics that can be related to this. Personally, I'm more focused on downstream sector, but I know how strong is the relationship between upstream, downstream, and related disciplines. So thank you, and it's really good to hear about this. I will, if you can share the presentation, I will also forward to other people that can be interested in this.
We were open also. We had a discussion on stakeholders, but we know that, of course, we're not representative for all universities in the space, because there is a lot of them. Even I'm also chairman of PEGASUS. It's only aerospace engineering, but we are 31, and even from the European Commission, we were not representative enough of Europe, even with 31, I mean, almost the best universities in Europe in aerospace engineering. So, and here we are only 7, okay? So, but some of our Earth, I mean, we are open also to academic stakeholders. Because I don't know if you are aware, but the building of European Alliance is very particular, because if we are in one alliance, we cannot be in another alliance. And so when we had some discussion on who want to be part of a discussion in Italy with Florence, with Rome, Milan, Turin, etc. But as soon as you are embedded in one alliance, you cannot be embedded in another one. And as most of alliances are, for instance, engineering or whatever, so it's okay, you can go. But for us, it's space. And having a university who say, okay, space cover a lot part of our work, it was very difficult. So at the end of the day, we will be very happy also to have other academic as stakeholders, a partner, and to build also, because our ambition is really to co-build a vision of Europe altogether, and we won't do that alone for sure.
I have just a question about, is there any particular admission exam, something to access the program? There is the people who are selected somehow, or
today the program shared among the students of the Alliance for initial programs. For instance, in SUPAERO in Toulouse, who have created a program in space medicine. It's already full of, we cannot even accept all students of other alliances, because I think we create some there is a winter school in Luleå, Arctic winter school on space science. So it's very popular. And so we even, the module that we created, we even can welcome all students of our members. So today they are not yet open to external people. But if we build some, but the master program are open now, like any master programs, okay? One is open, the other one should open in 2026 if they are accredited this year in Luxembourg and Namur on space sustainability. In Toulouse, space health and engineering should open in 2027 for Master 2, so Master 1 We welcome a student from any Master 1, and the others is still under discussion. So these are open, and if we go build lifelong learning, of course, it's open to and we have already 4 programs that we finalize the building of lifelong learning. Of course, it will be open to professional, but also we agreed that it should be open to some students.
And Emmanuel, could a university from the Veneto region collaborate somehow with the project?
No, in
Or it's
Italy, we are
closed?
working, it's mainly with Tor Vergata.
Rome.
I don't know if university in Venice are embedded in some alliance. I don't know if you know that.
No, honestly, I'm not
I
aware
can-
about this. I think, for example, Padua University has some alliance, but I really don't know exactly which one.
I will check.
Yeah. Another question. Today we have also Tracy joining. She's from US. So could also international students apply for a training, for a class?
Alors, for a class, today, no, because we fulfill with.
For the future ones, not
But the
the.
future, yes, of course, and it's also a discussion we had with the European Space Agency. Maybe you are aware of that they want to open some courses more widely. So the future program will be open to all students, whatever. Okay. Today the courses are, as I said, not open, unfortunately. They can be attended at distance, but today we are not ready yet, let's say like this, to open the course, all the course to all people. But maybe some of them can say, and I think it's a good question because I have never been a question on that. No, it's true, and I know that some of them are saturated, but from others, it would be a question that we can raise, and maybe I can check for that and give you an answer.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Please feel free to ask your questions. Either take the floor or write the question in the chat. Meanwhile, I would like to ask Emmanuel another, to share a concern with you, because you are also a professor and for many years. And I would like to understand what are the key challenges for a student in the space sector, preventing him from following this path, from getting a job. What is your notion, from your experience? Do your students follow a career path in the space sector? And if not, what prevents them from doing that?
So it's a very wide question. So I am professor at ISAE SUPAERO, and we are lucky that usually our students are hired very rapidly. And also that in Toulouse, there is a very strong ecosystem on the space sector. You know that 25% of all European workforce in Europe is in Toulouse. So
a great
it's huge.
space ecosystem.
So for us, it's a real chance, and it's true that our students come. And most of them get a job. Now,
But for engineering, it's mainly for
Yeah,
space
what
engineering.
did I say? For
Highlight
engineering.
this, yes, yes.
Now having a job outside engineering, so there is less job, of course. When we try to map the list of job outside science and engineering, there is not that much. You know, we work on that also for the Master in Space Health and Technology. At the beginning, we wanted to do something more health-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
But we have some discussion, especially with the university, says that, okay, we need to target a market with a minimum of activities. And the market of space, of health and space, is not today very developed, and it's somewhat difficult to justify to open a master. So we hook, okay, the technology, and here it was very fine because it's also first for students who want to work in space with a technological background, it's easier like this. We really think that we need more interaction between people like medicine and engineers. And also, if for any reason there is, like, let's say, lower activity in space, they can work in other sectors easily with a technological background. Now, what we face also, not for European students, but still, we saw that space is today, it's more and more difficult for some students with their nationality to get the space sector, to enter on the space sector, because it's becoming very strategic, and sometimes even for European students, I see, at least in France, that, I mean, if they have the opportunity to hire a French and or European and non-European, of course, to hire a non-European, it could be very complicated. You have to ask her for demanding, and it's much more easier to hire for European student or professional now. And also, yeah, I think the fact that it's very strategic, it's narrows the scope of the possibilities. Also, we deeply think that in some sector class space, we need some students with very high skills and transversal skills more and more.
Mm-hmm.
That is why also we want to develop also for engineers, for instance, to have more knowledge in management, but also in social science. And I mean, today we talk about of law in space, and so it's difficult to do even engineering without any basic knowledge in law, for instance. So maybe it's one of the issues that could face some students to get into the space sector.
Can I have another question? In your opinion, which job position will be in the space domain will be mainly requested by the market in the next years?
GIS specialist. I'm joking because Carlo is a GIS specialist. Please, Emmanuel, sorry.
Yes.
No, but you know, in France we have a big study on the future skills. There was a big program in France, 2030. I think you have a similar one in Italy for investment, and there was a study made by Aerospace Valley for the future skills and competencies in space sector. It's in French, a document in French, but it's accessible for everybody. So if you remind me, I can send it to you. Now it's very difficult because we don't have a crystal ball. It's true with AI, it changed a lot of things. we had some discussion also on this work package for future skills. And when we ask a professional for future skills, they ask for very good students with very good technical capabilities, but also side skills like management, like law or whatever. So what was, when we did a first job work on that in University 1.0 on future skills, I think one of the main output was they want, for mainly for big company like Airbus, etc. They want, of course, very highly skilled engineers, but with some side, let's say, skills, but strong one. So after, you know, when you ask industrials, they want everything. Okay, they want to hire a young professional with the salary of a young professional, but skills are as senior people. They want everything. So it's very difficult. But also that is why we want to develop more and more. And personally, I believe a lot in lifelong learning. Because, I mean, the space sector is changing so fast that we need to adapt and to have almost every year some update and some also for some transversal skills. But it's a personal vision, but I think that in the future we should present also more and more lifelong learning. And also it's a way to develop also the link between university and the society, to have more interaction, because it's true that today, as a university, we have university inputs, outputs with a student with a diploma, and after bye-bye. So we don't have a global vision actually of skill and competencies. We just have initial vision on the initial period. And so probably something we need to develop more and more, and also industry have to free their professional to be trained and to acquire these new skills every year. But it's more personal vision, but it's very difficult. Yeah, the only output that I can say, following our study in the first project, University 1.0, was really for engineers to develop more and more some. I don't want to say side, because it's not the good word, but let's say complementary competencies. You know, for instance, in SUPAERO, we have a double degree with Sciences Po Paris, with HEC, so we develop also students with double competencies in political science and engineering, or engineering and business school and so on. And it's probably something that we should develop more together.
Definitely. Thank you, Carlo, for the nice, for the interesting question, and Emmanuel for your feedback. Do you have more questions, Carlo?
No. For me, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, I think, Manuel, you highlighted key points in today's discussion. And I'm very pleased also to know that UNIVERSEH has a long-term mission. So the vision will be constantly updated, and the activities as well. Would you like to share something? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no. And if some of you want to have a discussion on also on the documents we start to draft, I will be very happy to interact with some of you.
This document is closed, or it could be shared with...
I can share with people who wants to participate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So it's
please
not a
share
public
it.
document.
No, I was thinking that we invite you, Carlo. We have a meeting with the Earth Observation Group mid-July, I think, 15th of July. And we may, I think it's a good idea to invite Emmanuel to discuss about this working document, because Emmanuel, the Earth Observation Group is a group of experts. So I think their feedback and contribution would be quite valuable for you. It's more on the downstream sector, but I think our members they have a broad spectrum of skills. And what do you think, Carlo?
Yes, I agree. I think it's a good idea. Of course, Manuel, you're welcome to our working group. It's, I think, a good opportunity for the group activities to have this interaction because, of course, all the sectors, downstream or upstreams, are connected between them. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea, Margherita.
Let's have an internal discussion on this. You can send me the link, Emmanuel, and then from there I will
Okay.
take
No, but
action.
I can send it. I don't want now he to share it too much. I would be happy to share it with some
Yeah, with
identified
me.
person,
With
with
we
you and
shared
with
not
Carlo,
with
with pleasure.
the public, not
Yeah.
with the webinars participants.
Okay.
No.
And
Okay,
it's a
thank
first
you.
draft. No, it's just a first
Yes,
draft.
no worries. It's confidential. I would like to thank all of you for today. We will, and mostly you, Emmanuel, for taking the time to prepare the presentation and
Thank you for inviting
share
me.
your comments. And
Thank you very much.
one of the brightest webinars, I would say. We are really we really want to support this kind of initiatives. And thank you, Carlo, also for your presence today. Thank you to all of you for joining, and I will come back with the new date of the webinar in autumn, most probably. And yeah, if I don't see you or don't have the chance to speak with you, I wish to all of you a wonderful summer break. And the follow-up of the webinar will be shared very soon. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.